I apologize for trying to get in the elevator. I know this is a hospital, but you have to understand it's an emotional thing for me, for my ex-wife to be upstairs, for my former mother-in-law to be hiding my son from me up there. My partner went to go check with our security supervisor, and look, we don't want to have to call the police. We really just want this situation to resolve itself. I want you to call the police either. I'm not a confrontational person, but when it involves my ex-wife and my son, I get that way. Listen, do you have a custody situation where you could relate to this? Well, even if you don't, you can understand that as a father, okay? I have this custody agreement where they're all trying to screw me. They're all trying to get custody of my son behind my back. I know what's gonna happen. Oh, hey.
I'm already a little angry. Don't make me angrier.
But Nanny Agatha, this...
Even in a hospital, you're a disgrace. As my grandson. No one's letting you go upstairs.
Alright, I'm leaving. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I'd like to make a complaint against the hospital because all the staff were really rude. They didn't take into consideration my situation with my ex-wife and my son, and they prevented me from seeing them. They put their hands on me at times. They used derogatory terms at me, and frankly, I didn't want to have to go here, but they also broke HIPPA laws in telling me about my ex-wife's situation, and I'm sure they told plenty of other people what's going on with her, and yeah, I think there's a lot of accountability that has to happen with this. Yeah, no, I'm at fault too, of course. Yeah, I did things, but everything I did was kind of like in retaliation for what they were doing to me, and it was very embarrassing. My grandmother had to come downstairs and like tell them to back off me, you know? So what? Now you're gonna give him the silent treatment? You're gonna make it awkward for everybody else? You're not gonna talk to him no more? It's one thing to bring up my motherhood towards him. I understand his perspective, but what he said about me being a grandmother and that I'm not entitled to anything, that hit a nerve. How many times are you gonna fight with your son? You guys fight every other week. What could he have possibly said that offended you this time? I feel like you guys have said it all. Do you want to hear for yourself what he said? Because I recorded the whole thing. You recorded him? Why are you recording conversations with your son? Because I've learned in this family, whenever there's confrontation, it's best to get it documented. Because you never know what's going to come from that confrontation. And I am really tired of everyone talking to me like they don't owe me respect or that I'm a piece of dirt. You made a lot of progress as a human being. Your daughter being around you is a testament to that. But you recording conversations to use in the future to guilt people and use against them, you gotta let that habit go. Are you recording us right now? No, I have no reason to record this conversation, but if you say stupid things like the last time where you said this was your house, then maybe I'll start recording you. This is my house. I appreciate you looking this up for me, and believe me, it will stay between you and me. Just consider it a favor to the family. Now, all I need to know about this baby is whether or not Brian's on the birth certificate. He is. It's really unfortunate. Only because I really didn't want him tied to that family, he's starting a new life in the military, and it's just a shame that he has to live with this and have probably this woman harass him for the rest of his life for child support and things like, yeah. Of course, we'll cover it and all that, but still, it's just, he doesn't deserve this, you know? It was definitely a mistake, him having a baby with her. See? Even after your brother gave up his custody, your mother's still finding ways to believe that one day she's going to be reunited with her grandkid. You're right. Anytime there's a possibility that Junior could be in her life again, she goes crazy. This is the only reason why I pushed for you to get a paternity test, because if you could just prove that he's not the father of that kid, maybe your mother will move on a little bit. I can't see her getting attached to a grandchild that's not hers. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to take a paternity test, and we will see if my brother's actually the father. I have a toothbrush that belongs to Junior. I can do this. I'm glad you're on board, but do you see it from my perspective? Do you see why it's just worth the shot? Because she drives herself crazy over the possibility of having a normal family, and she ain't ever gonna get that. You can make her life a little bit better. I know you have your issues with her in the past, but you could be the daughter that frees her from all her psychosis. The only problem is that the place I want to go to is a 7-day wait for the results. And I want to go to them because it's 99.9% accurate. They do a swab and a blood test. Who cares about the time? It's a one and done thing. After this, there's no other tests to be taken. Well, obviously the bank isn't going to let me into her account to get the money or anything like that while she's still living, even in the state that she's in. So as family court, I'm just wondering if there's any way you can direct her baby's father's child support to me while I have temporary... I know, but I have temporary custody. That doesn't matter. Well, it's not like that. It's not like I'm trying to get my nails done or get myself a new dress. I would simply be using it to pay for a nanny so that I can stay in the hospital. Okay, but she's in the hospital and I'm taking care of the kids. The child support is going to her bank account and sitting there. Sorry for how I behaved. You know, my ex-wife is incapacitated. My kid's going through it. It's an emotional thing for me, as you can understand. I'm terribly sorry if I offended you in any way or made you feel uncomfortable or spoke to you in any form of disrespect. My daughter is on a ventilator. I don't have time to be hiding my grandson from you. I don't need this hospital to be turned into the stage of Jerry Springer. Alright, well, I just wanted to talk to you because you shouldn't have to pay however much money for the nanny. Okay, I'm not gonna even consider taking her child with the other guy, but I'm asking you, while she's in this condition, just let me have Junior. I will give him back to you if she wakes up. You have my word. Again, just like I don't have time for drama or hiding the kids from you, I also don't have time to worry about whether or not I'd be breaking a custody rule by letting you see your son. You waived your right. No one in family court, no one has to know that I have custody of him. Alright, you can work it out with the school or whatever you need to do. But this is an emergency situation and, you know, you don't want to let him go to child services. You can't have a nanny raise him while you're in the hospital while she's in this condition. She could be in that condition for months if, you know, she stays on the ventilator and stuff. I'm really trying to speak to you in a civil manner and in a mature manner and nothing up my sleeve or anything like that. I can watch him, okay? I'll have my mom help me or whatever. And how would I explain it to my daughter when she wakes up that I gave the man she divorced and took to court several times her son back? I think that when Miranda wakes up, she'll understand why you let me watch Junior. Your other daughter doesn't want to watch him. My sister Gabby doesn't want to watch him. I had the house set up for him to live here before deciding to waive my rights and everything like that. I really don't want to get in trouble for this. I can't afford to be persecuted for doing the wrong thing while taking care of my daughter. Don't worry about getting in trouble, because the current custody agreement says that Miranda gets full custody of Junior, but she also has the option to let me see him whenever I want to. You know, it's still up to that parent to let me, the one who waived my rights, see him. And you're technically the one in her position right now. So you can argue that in court if you get in trouble. Alright, fine. He can stay with you. Just give me time to finalize things.
Hey Martha, did you know that there have been child custody cases where the nanny has gotten sole custody? I don't know how true that is though.